The world of pop culture is still mourning the devastating loss of the iconic Stan Lee, and the outpouring of grief made it so obvious how loved and admired he was. That love and admiration didn't just come from his fans, however. Stan Lee had an effect on the lives of some of the biggest names in Hollywood, not least the stars of the Marvel Cinematic Universe he helped to inspire. In this video, we'll look at 10 stars who paid tribute to Lee following his death. Excelsior! Whatever you do, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's the best way of keeping up to date with all of Screen Rant's great new videos. Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. plays Tony Stark, aka Iron Man in the MCU. He is undoubtedly the main reason the franchise is so popular, given his first solo movie as the character started it all with a bang in 2008. Stan Lee created Iron Man back in 1963, along with his brother Larry Lieber, Don Heck, and Jack Kirby, so Downey Jr. owes these guys a lot. Ever gracious, the popular star paid tribute to Lee in a couple of ways following the devastating news of his passing, both individually and as part of a group. Individually, Downey Jr. posted a photograph of himself with Lee, complete with a huge heart, along with the caption, "I owe it all to you. Rest in peace, Stan." Also, along with the other 5 original MCU Avengers, Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, and Jeremy Renner, Downey Jr. placed an ad in The Hollywood Reporter that said, "We acknowledge his creative contribution, the thousands of men and women it has long employed, the millions that will continue to be entertained, and above all, his inimitable wit, grace, and humanity. Stan, we love you, we will miss you, we're grateful to represent a small part of your amazing legacy." Chris Evans. Contrary to popular belief, Captain America wasn't actually one of Stan Lee's many iconic creations. He was in fact the brainchild of both Joe Simon and Jack Kirby back in 1941. But Lee did subsequently contribute heavily to the character's stories and development over the years, and he clearly had a big impact on the man who plays him in the MCU as well. Ever the nice guy, the actor paid tribute to Lee by being a part of that same group of Avengers actors as Robert Downey Jr., who placed a touching ad in The Hollywood Reporter. But he also had some heartfelt words of his own about the Marvel legend, which he wrote on his Twitter account. Evans tweeted that there will never be another Stan Lee. For decades, he provided both young and old with adventure, escape, comfort, confidence, inspiration, strength, friendship, and joy. He exuded love and kindness and will leave an indelible mark on so many lives. Excelsior! We have to say, there was never a truer word spoken about anybody. Mark Ruffalo. The enormous rage monster and his scientist alter ego were created by the even more iconic pairing of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby back in 1962. First of all, Ruffalo was part of the group of stars who placed the ad tribute dedicated to Lee in The Hollywood Reporter, but he also put out 2 very touching tweets of his own about the Marvel legend. The first one had a photograph of Lee next to a life-size replica of the Hulk, with the words, "Sad, sad day. Rest in power, Uncle Stan. You've made the world a better place through the power of modern mythology, and your love of this messy business of being human." The second was a picture of himself and fellow Avengers actors Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr., and Chris Hemsworth, along with the words, "You let us be extra human, superhuman even. I am deeply honored to have been a small part in the Stan Lee constellation." Chris Hemsworth. Another member of the original MCU Avengers who paid tribute to Stan Lee following his death was Chris Hemsworth, who of course plays Thor Odin's son, the mighty god of thunder in the MCU, and has done since the first Thor movie in 2011. Lee created the Marvel Comics version of Thor back in 1962, along with Larry Lieber and Jack Kirby, obviously by taking influence from the legendary character from Norse mythology rather than by creating him from scratch, as was the case with so many other Marvel characters. And Hemsworth clearly appreciates the opportunities the character has given him as an actor. The Australian star tweeted a very cool picture of Lee with a warm and beaming smile, wearing Thor's instantly recognizable helmet and holding his iconic hammer Mjolnir, which we are sure you'll agree he would definitely be worthy of wielding incidentally. And he added the words, "RIP, my friend. Thank you for all the incredible adventures your stories took all of us on. My love and support goes out to all of your friends and family," along with the hashtags Stan Lee and Legend. Scarlett Johansson. Johansson plays the formidable Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow in the MCU, a character created in a joint effort by Lee, Don Rico, and Don Heck back in 1964. She first played the character in 2010 in Iron Man 2, and while she's yet to be given her own solo movie in the franchise, it's a project that is said to be on the cards at long last. And she's made 5 further prominent appearances in other MCU installments. Rather than tweeting or using any form of social media to express her thoughts on the matter, Johansson sent a statement into NBC News regarding the passing of the Marvel legend. The statement read, "The galaxy just gained another dog star. Thankful every day to be a small part of Stan's universe. He was a legendary visionary and a true artist." Oh, and if you're wondering what a dog star is, it's a star that has particular prominence or pride of place in a constellation, which is definitely more appropriate than you were thinking it was, right? Johansson was, of course, also partly responsible for sending in the tribute to The Hollywood Reporter along with the other original Avengers. Chris Pratt. Pratt plays Peter Quill AKA Star-Lord in the franchise, the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Lee created the original Guardians team back in 1969 along with Arnold Drake and Roy Thomas. But that team didn't actually include Star-Lord, and it consisted of Vance Astro, Charlie 27, Martin X, and Yondu Udanta. Star-Lord was actually created by Steve Englehart and Steve Gahn, and he first appeared on panel in 1976. And it wasn't until as recently as 2008 that he became a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Regardless, Pratt paid his respects by tweeting a photo of himself and Lee, along with the words, "Thanks for everything, Stan Lee. What a life, so well lived. I consider myself extraordinarily lucky to have gotten to meet you, and to have played in the world you created," followed by the emoji of 2 hands touching and the heart emoji. Zoe Saldana. Saldana plays Gamora in the franchise, a character who was created not by Lee, but by Jim Starlin in 1975. Like Star-Lord, Gamora wasn't a member of the original Guardians of the Galaxy team. She actually became a Guardian in 2008. Irrespective of all that, Saldana was clearly affected by Lee's passing because, including retweets, she tweeted 4 times in relation to it after the news came out. First, she posted 3 images of Lee, one in which she stood with both him and Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn, along with the words, "Today we lost one of the greats. Stan Lee, you were an inspiration and a superhero to us all. Thank you for contributing so much and giving us all something to aspire to," followed by a heart emoji and the hashtag RIP Stan Lee. Then she retweeted a tribute tweet by the Museum of Modern Art about Lee. Then she quote-tweeted Marvel Studios' tweet about Lee's passing along with the hashtag RIP Stan Lee. And finally, she quote-tweeted actor and internet personality Rudy Mancuso's tweet about Lee's death along with the broken heart emoji. Clearly, she admired the Marvel icon quite a lot. Evangeline Lilly. Evangeline Lilly plays Hope Van Dyne, aka the Wasp in the MCU. She used Twitter to pay a lot of respect to Stan Lee when he passed away. Lee created the original Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, along with Ernie Hart and Jack Kirby back in 1963. But Hope Van Dyne didn't appear until 1999, and she was created by Tom DeFalco and Ron Frenz. Lilly tweeted a picture of herself with Lee along with the words, "Stan, more than a master of stories, you always seemed like a master of living. I will look to you for inspiration for the rest of my life. You live on. XOXO, your Wasp," followed by the hashtags Live On and Stan Lee. Then she tweeted 4 pictures of the Wasp along with the words, "I believe with all of my heart that Stan Lee would want to be celebrated today. Even through your tears, let's flood the internet with all the artwork, good, great, or awful that's ever been created in Stan's name," followed by the hashtags Break the Internet for Stan and Art for Stan. She then proceeded to retweet tributes by everyone from Mark Ruffalo to Zoe Saldana. She really went all out to ensure Lee was recognized as a great man. Tom Holland. British actor Tom Holland plays Peter Parker aka Spider-Man in the MCU. Spider-Man is, without a doubt, Stan Lee's most iconic creation, as he is undoubtedly Marvel's most famous character, ranking right up there with the likes of DC's Batman and Superman as one of the most instantly recognizable characters in fiction. Lee co-created the Webbed Wonder with Steve Ditko back in 1962, and the rest, as they say, is history. When the news of Lee's death broke, Holland took to Instagram to share a photo of himself with the Marvel legend along with the caption, "How many millions of us are indebted to this guy, none more so than me. The father of Marvel has made so many people so incredibly happy. What a life, and what a thing to have achieved. Rest in peace, Stan." Earlier this year, Lee had described Holland as a great Spider-Man, which is high praise indeed. Kevin Feige. It isn't only actors who are considered stars of the MCU. Countless people work behind the scenes to make the franchise tick, and none more so than the president of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige. Feige has been in charge of the studio since 2007, and has been the mastermind behind the unprecedented connectivity of it all. He really is the driving force of the franchise's incredible success. As a huge fan of comic books, Feige looked up to Lee in a big way, and the two became good friends during his time as Marvel Studios' head honcho. After it became apparent that Lee had passed away, Feige tweeted some touching words about his buddy and idol, saying, "No one has had more of an impact on my career and everything we do at Marvel Studios than Stan Lee. Stan leaves an extraordinary legacy that will outlive us all. Our thoughts are with his daughter, his family, and his millions of fans." Maybe one day, Feige will be viewed as an iconic Marvel figure in the same way Lee was, although it goes without saying that it will take some doing to get anywhere close to Lee's level in that regard. There will never be anyone like him again. Stan Lee was simply one of a kind. Other MCU stars who paid tribute to Lee included Samuel L. Jackson, Sebastian Stan, Winston Duke, Anthony Mackie, Letitia Wright, Finn Jones, Jessica Henwick, Mike Coulter, John Bernthal, J. August Richards, Kat Dennings, Vincent D'Onofrio, Joss Whedon, and the Russo brothers, as well as countless stars from non-MCU Marvel movies. His impact on the world simply cannot be overstated. How much of an impact did Stan Lee have on your life? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Screen Rant for more great videos like this one. Bye for now, and rest in peace, Mr. Lee.